Okay, this is A Maths in the year 2011 O-level question, paper 2, question 2. Okay, one of you asked me this question. It says here the function f is given by f, then dot dot x, then one arrow, then a times tangent b times x. That means this whole thing is inside the argument, okay? This whole thing is inside the argument, where a and b are positive integers and x is between minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. Alright, now we will just look at this part first. Now what does it mean when they write f dot dot x, then one arrow like that? Okay, actually what it means is the same thing as this. This way of writing is the same as this way of writing. It's just that some years ago, right, there's this topic called relations, okay, and that's how we represent this fx there, okay. But that topic has been taken out already. Your syllabus is a very reduced syllabus, so no more this way of writing. We normally write it this way for you, okay, so don't worry about this part here. Okay, now what you need to understand is that the question tells you that a and b are positive integers. Now positive integers means let's say I have a number line here, then this will be minus 1, minus 2, so on and so forth. Now positive integers means that the numbers must be positive, okay, and they're very nice number, no fraction, no decimal, okay, which means that for a number to be positive integer, it cannot be 0, because it's 0 is neither positive nor negative, okay. So you need to bear this in mind, because later when you go and find the answer, okay, what did they ask you to do? They ask you to find the smallest possible value of b, right? You must know that your b cannot be 0. Alright? Okay, so once you understand this, let us try and do this question. Now, they tell us in part 1 that fx, given that fx equals to 0, that means this whole thing, which is actually this whole thing, is equals to 0 when x is pi over 2. Alright, now when you have x as pi over 2, you should know that your calculator mode should be in radians, okay? Because there's no degree sign here, it means that we are talking in terms of radians. Now, they ask you to find the smallest possible value of b, okay, given that fx equals to 0 when you sub this x inside here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Now I want to clarify this first step that I've written here. Now you see, given that fx equals 0 when x equals pi over 2, that means your x, right, when I sub it as pi over 2, okay, that means when I replace this is fx, right? When I replace this x with pi over 2, the answer that I'll get, right, is equals to 0. That's what they're trying to tell us here, okay, which is shown in the next step. Alright, isn't this fx this fella? And if I were to replace the x by pi over 2, isn't it just like that? Okay, then how do you continue from here? Okay, now you see here, they told us that a and b are positive integers. So a cannot be 0, b cannot be 0, right? That means you can divide both sides by a lah. Because if a is 0, then you cannot divide by a, because you cannot divide by 0. But because a is not 0, a not equal to 0, right? So you can, I haven't done it yet, sorry. I just rewrite this in the numerator here, okay, so that it's clearer. Now, since a is not equal to 0, I can divide both sides by a, right? Then I'll get this. And 0 divided by any number is 0. Then I'll get this. Okay, now this is the part that you need to do some thinking. Alright, they are now telling us tangent of something equals to 0. So what should this something be? This box here. Alright, now for such questions it's very useful to know your graph very well. Now we all know that tangent, the graph, okay, the period is pi over the number here, right, which is 1. So it's pi lah. Pi meaning if we take reference from the origin, then from here to here, okay, it should be pi. There, period mah. Meaning to say this must be minus pi over 2, so that this is minus so that this is pi over 2, this is pi over 2 then this whole thing is pi. Okay, so this is what we call one full cycle with these two dotted lines as the asymptote. Okay, now if you know this then you should know that the next one is another pi over 2 and then another pi over 2. Okay, that means it's like half, so this is pi lah. Then plus another half, so this is 3 pi over 2 lor. Okay, similarly, this is half, then this is half, so it's minus pi, then this is another half pi, so it's minus 3 pi over 2. And this will be your other asymptote. Okay, so that this interval here is pi, that's one full period. This interval here is pi. This interval here is pi. Okay, now once I know this this shape is periodic, right? Periodic means it's going to be repeated, so it's going to be like that. This one also going to be like that. Okay, yeah, so this shape is being repeated. Now I ask you, so this fella here, tangent pi, b pi over 2, what should this be? Can this be, right here. You see tangent of what angle will be equal to 0? Tangent of what angle will be equal to 0? Tangent of 0 is 0. Tangent of pi is 0. Correct? Tangent of minus pi also 0. In fact, it goes on forever and ever and ever. This fella also goes on forever and ever. Alright? But now, let's think about it. Can I say that it's minus pi? The answer is cannot. You know why? Because if it's minus pi, right, then this, when I cancel off the pi, this will be minus 1, then b is minus 2. Then it's wrong already. Why wrong? Because the question told us that a and b are positive integers. Then just now we say, oh, cannot be 0, right? So cannot be 0. So it cannot be minus pi. Okay? Now, can it be 0? 0, tangent of 0 also is 0 ma. Answer is cannot. Why cannot? Because when I make b the subject, b is going to be 0. And we said just now that, or rather the question told us that b cannot be 0 because a and b are positive integers. Okay? Then now how about this fella here? You see, if all the negative angles cannot be used because it will give us a negative answer for b, and the 0 cannot be used, then the next biggest one, which is that means the smallest possible value of b, perhaps has to be this. In fact, it has to be this because this is the one that we rejected just now. So the next smallest one has to be this. Okay, because if you take the next one here, it'll be bigger than this. So wrong already. Okay, so b over 2 pi equals to pi. That means your b must be equals to 2. Okay, so that's your answer. Finish already. Okay, now for this particular question, if you refer to your TYS, right, it says here, oh, using the found in part 1, that means using the B, this fella, B, which is equal to 2, found in part 1, right? And given that the gradient of this is, you must find, they want you to find A lah, okay? Now you cannot do this question yet because you will only be taught this topic next year by your teacher, sometime in April or March, okay? Yeah. So I'm telling you that the answer is 3 lah. Okay? Why am I telling you the answer is 3? Because now we're going to skip this part because you cannot do this part, you haven't learned yet. It's not the Sec 3 syllabus, now you are supposed to sketch this. Now what is this? Very simple. Your fx is this one, right? So this will be y equals to, and your A, I'm telling you the answer is 3. Then tangent, your B is 2. Just now we found already. So this is what you need to sketch. Okay? Now, very simple. Always start with the period. Tangent graph, very simple one. Only focus on the period. So it's pi over whatever number is here, right? So it's 2. That means that one full, you draw the asymptote with a ruler, okay? And ensure that this space equals spacing. Mine is a bit out. Okay, so this whole interval here, oh, sorry. This whole interval here should be pi over 2. Which means that half of it will be pi over 2 divided by 2 long. So it's actually like half divided by half, so it's pi over 4. Why put minus here? Because it's on the left hand side of the y-axis. Like that, finish. Okay? Actually haven't finished it. You need to draw this. It's something like your cubic graph, right? Cubic graph, but then you have an asymptote. Okay? A cubic graph don't have asymptote one. You know your this cubic graph, no asymptote one, okay? No asymptote, meaning that you will be like that. And then this one, there's no asymptote one, you see? You go further down. There's no dotted lines one, okay? This one has, okay? For tangent graph. Now, I've drawn from minus pi over 4 to here already, but they want us to draw for this interval, you see? For this interval, minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. Okay? So this is what I need to draw. Now this is like 1/4. Okay, if I have another 1/4, I will get minus half. Okay, this is 1/4. If I have another 1/4, it will be half. Half of pi. So I need to draw until here lah. Okay, now do you remember that our tangent graph is always like that one? Okay, and this part here, right, is like the middle of this interval. So this part here is like the middle of this interval. So you must imagine, it's going to be like that. There's going to be an asymptote here, but we are not interested in that. Okay, but it's going to be like that. Then turn, then it's going to go up like that. Okay, then now here actually this is going to be the center because there's going to be an asymptote here. So it's going to go like that. So that is the complete answer. Finish already. Label, I label it. Okay, so that's all.